With increasing global population and constant transformation, climate change and limited natural resources have become undeniable facts. In Asia, 52% of urban population growth will happen by 2035. The world urban population is also projected to increase by 25%. Now a generation cannot afford their rent, and many are forced to live in overcrowded or unsuitable conditions. This leads to the housing crisis. One successful housing program in Singapore, called Coalesce, was constituted to deal with the housing crisis, and 80% of Singaporeans rely on HDB flats. Along with its efficient use of space and resource, mass housing still has several faults. That is, lack of social identity and communal space. These residential neighborhoods will not have the opportunity to adapt to the future change over time. Overall, mass housing fails to address certain aspects of housing such as social cohesion and personal identity. This leads to the questions: what if the building can be reconfigured over time as a potential solution to the existing problem of inflexibility, and the people can participate in the design process as means to directly address their special needs, with the intelligent system for helping people and find out a suitable solution. That is our research project, Coalesce. Coalesce is a 400-home residential neighborhood that grows and is able to reconfigure according to the needs of the inhabitants, owners, and the surrounding urban context over 5 decades. The residential development is expected to grow, shrink, and reconfigure for over 5 decades. The different stakeholders such as architect, government, assembled workers, user, and multi-users will involve in different stages throughout the years. We propose 3 design strategies, such as sustainability, personalization, adaptability, to change each part, from assembly to space planning, usage, user needs change, home adapts, flexibility, reconfiguration, disassemble and reuse or recycle.
We present a new degree of personalization. The conventional model is linear, has minimal user customizability, and is unable to grow or shrink in response to family size, and is replaced by a more cyclic one. Consider a user who is selecting their home voxels in a residential neighborhood. He has a certain family size and budget. The residential development's voxels would have values assigned to it based on livability factors like thermal comfort, views, and certain attractive community features within the development. A clustering algorithm presents a range of options for home locations and their cost based on voxel values. Next, the user sets parameters for the size and location of the rooms of their home. A floor planning genetic algorithm generates 3 options and presents it to the user to pick from, along with their performance scores and cost of construction. In the floor planning algorithm, the following features are optimized for: thermal comfort of living spaces, proximity of built area to core, minimal cantilever, ventilation of living space, minimal internal circulation, and improved views for living spaces. Within the user selected plot voxels, a shape grammar-based evolutionary algorithm is run. Genes are used to select position of each room start points and the position of room rectangles. Central spaces such as living and dining rooms, internal stairs and internal corridors are generated first. The algorithm runs hundreds of iterations, learning over time, and outputs 3 good unit layouts that respond the best to its unique context in the built mass.
Our next strategy is of sustainability through the proposal of a new building system. A study of the existing building model shows that the life cycle of the material in use is not accounted for, leading to wastage and abandoned buildings. There is an expected change in spatial requirements to occur over the years, which the existing linear model doesn't accommodate, resulting in an endless succession of destruction and rebuilding. The proposed strategy is to work with a component-based system, which is designed to achieve flexibility in assembly, disassembly, and reuse, allowing for easier, faster, and robust building developments through efficiency in prefabrication and manufacturing techniques. The proposed building model explores a more viable way to think about sustainable construction. Creative reuse, reconfiguration, and designing programmatically versatile buildings that last is the objective of this research. The component-based system consists of the structure, building components, components for spatial planning, services, and interior detailing. The construction process begins with the extraction of timber and prefabrication of components depending upon user customization, which is then delivered to site where the assembly takes place to form the ready home. This method allows for fast production, which is essential considering the increase in housing demand. It also allows for freedom of customization and quick assembly, which we can provide the users with. For the design of this component-based system, we applied a marching cube algorithm which uses a number of elements to create an enclosed volume. The elements form the components, and the resultant enclosed volume is the residential unit. Once the final floor plan is selected by the user, the habitable volume is extracted from it, on which the material system algorithm is applied. A final unit morphology is obtained comprising of various building components. The unit typology matrix highlights the morphological variations that can be achieved based on various floor plan clustering scenarios that emerge from user personalization. Vertical distribution of spaces within a unit is explored as a strategy to enable porosity and reduce the density of the resulting building mass. As highlighted, such a distribution creates interior space and terraces of varying scales and spatial qualities. Each unit has a unique morphology and spatial character as a result of personalization. Each user is allowed to customize the unit facade from a provided catalog depending upon their preferred utility of space, such as terrace skylights and vertical gardens. Our third and last strategy is of adaptability. There is very little consideration of the user and space relationship in the existing building design model. Through our proposal, we aim to provide an account for change in demand through adaptable spaces and space trading over the years, defining and enhancing a relationship between users and the space. A unit is formed by its structural components first, followed by the exterior panels, internal partitions, and space-making components. The user can further personalize their space by selecting through a range of partitions through a provided catalog. This catalog is designed by the architect in relation to the context, resulting in unit formations which are environmentally responsive. Users can opt for terraces, roof gardens, large openings, etc. based on their seasonal requirements. Units can be clustered onto site over the years. As and when the units are built over time, unit terraces can be activated as public spaces depending upon adjacency and edge conditions. The involved users come together and make decisions at the communal level on the nature and scale of space to be created. This approach allows for users and other stakeholders to be more involved in space making for changing social structures of society.
In Singapore, it has high density of mass housing. 80% of Singaporean relies on HDB flat. Such high density of the mass housing is why we select Singapore as a site for our project to test the workflow. The GLS program in Singapore laid out available sites for development, and we use this as the guide for site selection. We pick one of these proposals that is Dairy Farm. Nearby this location has 2 national parks and 2 convenient expressway. and one international school. The area is about 1.56 ha and the estimate unit number is about 385. The population in the region is increasing over the year and majority of the population's ages is around 15 to 64. The Singapore Building Guideline will refer to guide the setup of logic and rules for the experiments.
A tower outline is designed as a guide for users to build their homes. A GA is a design prioritizing reduction of thermal radiation for homes, achieving the target built area, achieving target public residential ratio, reducing self-view. Based on the surrounding pedestrian and public transport networks, a primary site axis is defined. Secondary axes fragment the large footprints. The building footprint is extruded upward, tapered, and scaled by the genetic algorithm. A three-dimensional cellular automata algorithm populates the outline, and residential and public voxels are defined. At the heart of each of the three towers is a circulation core. The material system defines a permanent framework. Individuals build onto this predetermined framework over decades, using the flow layout algorithm and a kit of parts as infill panels. The framework and residential voxels are predetermined and therefore allow prediction of the location and magnitude of structural loading, while maintaining user freedoms by allowing them to customize infill panels. Thus, a finite element analysis can also be conducted to predict structural behavior.
This is the section of three towers. Public spaces is located in the center, surrounded by the living unit. And finally, let's take a minute's walk through this entire space.